Good afternoon, friends. One more afternoon for a new learning. And more importantly, today we have with us one of the most eminent personality, rather I say him my first love, my first president, Praful Chajar sir. Sir, welcome to this series, 7 series program. And all you actually are the stars of that 7 series in the entire discussion when we come for. And sir, there cannot be a better person than you who is heading the chair of ethical standard board, who's held the position of the institute. There cannot be a better person than you to hold that position. We are really thankful for you, the kind of insightful learning which we are getting from you on a continuous basis. Just to give you a brief back, this series from the peer review board is ever been done for the first time, where we are taking 7 different topics. And last week, sir, we have talked about how to scale up CA firms, which included talent management, team management, performance management of the team, because that is becoming a critical aspect. And the biggest point is retention of the team is also becoming a challenge in the process. Somewhere certain things are to be inculcated by the audit firms so that the quality of our teaching and learning continuously move on. And today's topic, sir, is one of the most important one in the discussion is with regards to assignment of engagement team and engagement performance. There is a special thrust which has been put in SQC1 with regards to the engagement performance. And we have seen a couple of reports which have been coming from different regulators, the importance of an engagement partner, the importance of quality review partner, and importantly, the team which is involved in the entire process. The knowledge is the most crucial part, and that assessment on a continuous basis need to be done by most of the firms. Whether when I'm doing a bank audit, when I'm putting an article for a bank audit, whether he's been trained rightly. When the partner is going to sign, whether he has knowledge of bank audit or not. When we do tax audit, when we do statutory audit, there is a lot of such things which are there. And our code of ethics specifically talk about external quality reviewer, EQR, which is becoming one of the most important process. Peer review board actually has not been evolved just like that. We started this process. People are thinking that it is peer reviews for a larger firm, but which I reiterate every time in the discussion. The peer review process is primarily for the smaller firms where we don't have multiple partner layers. Because in the multiple partner layer, whether likingly, unlikingly, structured or unstructured, there is a discussion which is happening. But in case of a 2-partner firm, 1 proprietary concern, 3-partner firm who are operating from different location, it becomes difficult to define the role of an engagement team because all of us participate. It's only one thing which is there, which I've learned with you in the disciplinary committee, is we are not able to demonstrate with our documentation the work, the responsibility we have carried out. Here, today we are going to discuss about this role of engagement team and engagement performance evaluations. Sir, welcome to you. Friends, I can tell you one thing, a man who has actually transformed institute by his decision in the first year to move from what we are to what we are now is basically the decision taken for SSP portal, the decision taken for digital learning hub. He has been one of the most crucial persons. Sir, your vision actually gave us a different learning experience in this entire process. And today, friends, I can tell you the digital learning hub, which sir, you launched the first day we were sitting in your cabin, we had only one data which was there. And today, just imagine 76 years of learning has happened from Digital Learning Hub alone. 76 years, which is 4 crore minutes of learning by our members and students. And today, when the international bodies are looking at us, he is looking from a point of view that, you know, the kind of quality information which is there on Digital Learning Hub is actually become a reality. Sir, there are many such initiatives you have put forward during your tenure as a council member, then as a vice president, then as a president, and today you are actually guiding all of us. You are one person, rather friends, I would like to tell you, he is one such person as a president, past president of the institute, who took the responsibility when the transition is coming to take that responsibility on his shoulder with regards to ethical standard compliances which are becoming relevant across the globe. he told that, yes, let us work towards it. Let us handhold our members. So that this process of peer review board also, sir, is a handholding process. And we would like to listen from you about your words of wisdom where we can take things forward. Thank you very much for joining us and encouraging, sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, my colleague in the council, respected Central Council member, a dear friend, more than a council member. I can always call him a dear friend. He's always available for the cause of the profession. C.A. Dayanivas Sharma, the learned speaker for this afternoon, the office staff, and more importantly, all my distinguished members and their teammates from their respective offices. It is always a pleasure to interact with the membership at large, because then only you come to know what is happening across both from our side and from your side. Unfortunately, for last 2 years, because of pandemic, etc., we are not able to meet face to face. But I am thankful for the this kind of young team like Dayabai and others who took this particular challenge of taking ICI to a next level. Yes, I was the president when few things happened, and thereby today's topic is about the engagement teams. And I think it was the team. Leader could be one, but unless team is performing, everybody is taking their shape, so nothing happens. So whatever in good things which are happening in ICI, leaders will come, they will go, and positions will keep on rotating, changing. But I think it is the great team which contributes for the cause of the profession, and I'm thankful for the membership that year on year you support all of us in terms of going there and taking few decisions. Friends, as you are aware, now the ICI's history is more than now 72 years. And if we go back and check what could be the a few things that had kept us, still we are the sole regulator of this auditing profession in the country. And I think one of the most important hallmark is the ethical behavior of our members, the ethical standards which our ICI prescribes. So when you are answerable to a stakeholder, outsider, either even if you are either in a job or if you are practicing, when you are signing some financial document or you are certifying something, the entire world is looking at you that this carries the signature of a chartered accountant. So there are few things that goes beyond this particular thing. First, your technical knowledge, your expertise in what assignment you are handling, be it audit or be it maybe a tax compliance. But secondly, and more importantly, back of the mind, you should always be very, very ethical. And I'm thankful to all of you that it is because of this entire, the ICI members that last 72 years, this journey has been fantastic. And therefore, a lot of importance to the code of ethics. Friends, I am not sure whether again, India is always leader in many things. When we are talking about International Ethical Standard Board and all those things, for the first time, the Ethical Standard Board was formed in India, and taking clue from India, next year at international level, International Ethical Standard Board was, formed. So this is what the ICI, as I said, it is in your and my blood. Right from when you start your articleship, even for that small, the stipend, we just go and work. Why? That desire is there to learn. Desire is there that even one day, even I can become this particular thing. So this ethics is lot of importance is being given. Earlier, it used to be known as Code of Conduct. Eventually, now it is known as the Code of Ethics. And recently, when we launched this 12th of edition, this Code of Ethics has been divided into 3 parts. Volume 1, Volume 2 and Volume 3. Basically, Volume 1, which is based on the International Ethical Standard Board. A second volume is about the domestic provision which are governing members in India. And Volume 3 also as a helping hand we are giving to our members based on the case laws as a reference. Why this Volume 3 and why this Code of Conduct, Code of Ethics and your and my, is important. So basically, non-adherence to this code of ethics which the council is prescribing or something which is there under the act also can, lead to a disciplinary action against the member. Because ethics is one thing, there cannot be compromise. when we are chartered accountant, there cannot be a different set of ethics for a firm or a location or a chartered accountant, and there cannot be a different set for a B kind of person. So ethics is uniform, integrity is uniform. So when I was talking to you, friends, volume 1, volume 2, and volume 3. So volume 1, for the first time now, it is also having, international standards as under part A and part 4A and part 4B. So they are from sections 400 to 899. And I think council is placing so much of importance on this particular ethical things that even now it is mandatory for even every member to complete few hours of when you complete your CP hours about the ethical standard. Even the branches and all POEs are required to conduct some of the program. So friend, if we take into consideration the journey in this volume 1, many places, earlier we used to have the simple English like the chartered accountant should follow the chartered accountant should this. Now that should has been replaced by shall. So now it is no more should, it is shall. Chartered accountant shall. So therefore, lot of importance on this particular ethics. So friend, even as a chartered accountant, even as a student, we all know that few principles that cover, our entire profession is about integrity, objectivity, then whether on that particular thing, whether you are independent, influence of others, professional competence and due care, confidentiality and professional behavior. So it is this particular combination that you should be professionally competent and you should be professional, even behavior should be up to that level. Then only you are in a position to give that required comfort to the society at large, to the government and other stakeholder at the large. So, there could have been some things which could have gone wrong in such particular profession. But till now also, everybody's balance sheet has to be mandatorily got audited by the chartered accountant, be it the largest corporate of India or even in the small the private limited company, it is the only person is the chartered accountant, and therefore lot of focus. Dayabai is chairman of peer review, and if I see myself as a journey for at least 9 years as a central council member, where I got an opportunity to closely understand the working of the peer review. And as he rightly said, is this peer review process is for the larger firm? Yes, as a mandatory, you could have been doing for larger firms, smaller firm, medium firm, everybody. But if I understand, even the smaller firms, many times what happens your client is there with you for last 5 years, 10 years and all those things. Client will always be with you. But suppose if tomorrow government officer, the income tax officer, MCA, they are coming out with that particular, sometimes some query, etc. And in the absence of that documentation, even if you are done work in a most appropriate, fantastic manner, but you get caught. And therefore, I think peer review is one process where at least some of name itself is a peer review. So it is some of your own colleague which is coming to your place, trying and understanding, and together you also learn. And I see in last 9 years, many times when first time you try to do the first peer review, people used to call me, "Arey Praful bhai, ye karna zaruri hai kya? Can we postpone?" and all those things. So that kind of, the feedback used to come. But then we used to say, "Nahi boss, this is good for you only, and there is nothing, we don't take disciplinary actions, etc., etc. You please go ahead based on that." And they go under that 15-20 days entire process kind of thing. And thanks to again Dayabai is putting lot of things, making the more transparent, more digitized thing, so that using the technology, even in this entire process, how it can be smoothened, not only in terms of reducing the number of days, but the required competence goes into that entire ecosystem. So ICI is trying to take, but once you do that particular thing, I had seen then people used to compliment me, "Arey Praful bhai, many things were there, we were knowing, but we were not keeping the records. Now aane do abhi kisi ko bhi, mere paas sara record hai." So this kind of that confidence building. So ICI is ultimately, what is ICI? It is nothing like the president of central council or regional council. It is the members' body only. So you and I only go in there and represent and give our services. So peer review entire process is based on that. And friends, now internationally also so many things are happening, and world over, if you have seen, and my request to all of you, especially the young members, will be in accounting field, what is happening internationally also, you should keep the watch. And if you see the globally also, so many things are happening. Sometimes there is an error from accounting firm or auditing firm. Sometimes there is many times it is the failure of the management kind of thing, not giving the proper and required information to this thing. And therefore, today's topic about the entire team. It is not one chartered accountant who is signing that balance sheet. So entire, right from your article, everybody should be ethical, everybody should be independent, everybody should be professionally competent. And many firms in India also, and especially even ICI also, we started taking lectures. Even for the students, I strongly encourage you, please put your students for attending those programs. Because this is the entire composition of our teams that we represent before that client and our, this thing come. So internationally also, friends, now we are talking, they are talking about the no clerk, means non-compliance with other laws also. So apart from whatever is required, so they are there. But again, ICI has taken a stand that we need to engage with our membership and all those things. So we are deferred it till 1st of April 2022. But many things are there, because it is not that ICI wants. It is the ecosystem wants. It is the government which wants. It is the, various stakeholder. Now, every day you and I read now the various things. Now, yesterday, some, one small startup got listed and about 1 lakh crore, the market capitalization. And if you see there, it is an asset-light model. So they are not putting any manufacturing plant or something of that sort. So again, even as a chartered accountant, we have to support this ecosystem, what is happening globally. So in that particular sense, again, this peer review will help you in case you are lacking somewhere on your competence, if your understanding of, say, accounting standards, etc., auditing standards, that reviewer will help you. Further guidance can come from the peer review board, and I think they also support, and every 3 years, 4 years, we go under that particular cycle. So everywhere, the churning is happening in terms of the knowledge. And therefore, it's very, very important to understand how things are moving on the commercial side. Accordingly, our knowledge should be also there. And, friends, one more important thing where even Dayabai was also, one good thing was, as I was talking, I am for 9 years in the council. And now every 3 years we have the election again. In December, elections will be coming. So many new people join the council, and that is the advantage. Last time when we had few friends like Dayabai, who were the totally new to the first time entrance to the council, and I was fortunately the first year president. So I used to just press a button. If Dayabai is around or some of my other colleagues are around, please call them, and I used to request them. We have to do together all those things. So these people used to, they are putting a lot of effort in terms of, connecting to the members, and also, evolving the process entire, how we can to the stakeholder. See, ultimately, it is not like that, I want to come to your office, check something like a police wala and check your documentation and something. As a profession, we have to be very high. And this ethical standard, friends, it is not only for the practicing members. Even for members in industry, there are certain set of standards which are mandatorily to be followed. And therefore, lot of things which are going into this particular process. So please take this particular thing into, very seriously kind of thing. And again, it is not like that we always talk our members to be on ethical side and we are only putting all responsibility on them. Especially in volume number 1, which I was referring to you, if you refer to sections 607, 608, etc., lot of responsibility which is being assumed from the management side, that is also we are documented. Okay, so it is not that every responsibility is of a chartered accountant only and management will not do anything. So we are also trying and balancing this entire ecosystem, how we want to try to do. Another impact is also on this when we talk about ethics and all those things. Again, globally, we are talking about, certain things which as a practicing chartered accountant, can you do their concurrent audit? Can you do, being a statutory audit, can you do their other audits, etc., internal audit? So basically, a few examples which I am trying to give you this thing. But there is a whole lot of list, what you can do and what we cannot do. Again, again for the profession, we are taking that particular stand. We are already represented MCA to allow certain services, because again, even global level, they are talking about whether taxation services should be allowed, not allowed, and all those things. But I can only assure you on behalf of everybody, all my dear friends, whatever is there for the cause of the members, definitely, friends, we are trying and putting that particular thing to the before the even the government also, even at the council level also, we are trying to put the things forward so that everything is properly benefited. And as I said in the beginning, ethics is one thing. If I look at the profession as a maybe a four-wheeler car or three-wheeler auto rickshaw, or even as a two-wheeler bike also, so one important will be always be ethical behavior, independence, and this entire code talks about that ethics and independence, so that I am always, जैसे बोलते हैं ना, रात को मेरे पे कुछ नहीं आएगा. So as long as you are independent, then no client will be there, no connection will be there, and definitely through this peer review process, which is a very helping process to the members, definitely lot of improvement in terms of the quality, in terms of the engagements, that is also going to happen. The other day I was talking to Dayabai and he was trying to tell me, sir, we will compile the things where members are lacking, etc. And we will now be, actually they are also currently also doing some programs where they try to give the shortcomings or commonly observed things which they are doing. But using technology, they want to do more in terms of reaching out to the members. So this is all about from my side. Of course, there is a learned faculty who will be talking much in detail, but I am thankful to again dear Dayabai for inviting me here. And again, one request to the members, friends, as you are aware now, I am the past president, and now in the December after post-elections, on 12th of February, me and many of them, even the current president nearby, will not be the member of the council. And as I was mentioning, every 3 years, this is a very important democratic process that we follow, even at the central council, regional council, even at the branches. Some of you could be from the branches only. You will get the chance to elect your new people. So please participate into that process either as a candidate or as the even as a voter, because we talk to the entire world, we give the kind of GAN, but when it comes to the voting percentage, it is hardly 40-45% of the voting. So my sincere request to all the members that if we want to have this flag of the ICI always at the top level, lot of support even from the members is expected. Council member, once they get elected, they are committing themselves. I am not talking only about the central council, I am talking about the regional council branches also. And if you see this ecosystem of our ICI, at least at every particular time you will find 2,000 to 5,000 people working for zero interest for the cause of the profession. So there are now today's faculty, what is going to get? Nothing. But it is out of love to the ICI, we request them, and many people, whether they are chartered accountant, non-chartered accountant, they come and they participate. So this entire ecosystem is really, really good. And I will encourage young members also to come forward, become the coordinators, become the, things, and definitely there will be a lot of learning. So Dayabai, thank you so much. Again, Dayabai is peer review board chairman also, and he is also handling the digital side of the ICI. So it might have started during my tenure, but now thereby you people, the entire team at the back end of the ICI, along with the staff of the ICI, you are ensuring that this is not only the dream that we should be having a digital thing, and definitely. And friends, let me tell you, we are much ahead in terms of technology connectivity with our members. So rest assured that ICI will be doing its best. So thank you very much, Dayaji, for inviting me here. I wish you and your team the very best, and also thanks to the office for doing wonderful service, and also the members for participating into this program. And I'm quite sure all these 7 days, 5 days learning will be a great thing in terms of looking at how that peer review is, whether it is only a compliance thing or it is a real learning thing. So it is going to give you 360-degree views of your practice, how you are doing your practice and how you are going to improve. So my best wishes to everybody. Still, pandemic is not over. Stay safe, take care of yourself, your family members, and ICI is always there with the members. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor. There cannot be a better person to give the message of what engagement team means, and more importantly, what is engagement partner. More importantly, from an institute point of view, you have been the engagement leader for us. You engaged us completely during the tough time and the best times also. And you guided us to take, walk through, because a person like me who's come for the first time in the council, it was a great learning experience from a leader like you. That has been a very positive environment which you have created, which is driving us to work very hard for the cause of profession. As you rightly said, few thousands of people come forward to participate without asking a single rupee in the system. And we have faculties who are actually sharing their knowledge without even thinking that there is going to be a competition for them in time to come. But yes, that is where the learning happens, and that is how we grow forward. Two things which you specifically talked about, sir, is primarily with regards to the competency development, and ultimately I'll add one more point, is the act what we do. I'll just give an example with regards to ethics in this thing. Right, we are going through an Olympic session where we have shooters who are shooting ethically to get awards and Olympic medals for the nation. But a shooter can actually kill a person also, which is unethical. I think there cannot be a better example than this. To get nation pride, I think we all have to work towards shooting and killing those negativities which are happening, and ensure that we move forward with a true spirit without thinking that we are compromising anywhere. And more importantly, friends, I can tell you one thing: over a period of time, we have realized one thing: the chartered accountants have been doing their best. Exceptions, let's not talk. Even if it is 5, 10, 15 in total year, there cannot be more than that. Those people were intending to do certain things wrong, so that is the reason they are exceptions. But the entire profession has been in the safe hands always. That's the reason we completed 72 years. And more, clearly to talk about is the effectiveness and efficiency. If you do things efficiently, effectiveness can be measured. Otherwise, you cannot even measure effectiveness. So that is where we are actually going towards. Friends, having Praful sir to address us, and giving his views, his thoughts, and putting focus with regards to the code of ethics that need to be followed from the article to the partner level, that makes whole lot of difference. And that is a trust factor which we have created all throughout. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Request you to kindly listen to our learned speaker based on your time commitment. I'll not bother you much, but however, thank you very much for coming and sharing. Vijay bhai, thank you very much for joining us. You heard our president's, past president. President is always a president. It is not a past president. So for me, he is always a president. He shared his view with regards to the role an article has to play. And the more important part is the managing partner of the firm, who's driving the entire vision of the firm, has to play. And this entire process is only dependent on one word, is ethics. And second word can be actually trust. We trust each other, we move forward, we learn from each other, and that is how the things go. Engagement teams and engagement performance are the measurement mechanism when we look into certain important aspects of our profession. Look forward to listening from you. And the focus has to be, let us create that environment. Let us not bother that I'm a proprietary concern or a two-partner firm. But yes, there is a battalion of 340,000 chartered accountants who is there to support each other. And that is how we need to move forward. So please, over to you, Vijay.
Thank you, Daya. Thank you, peer review board, and thank you, Daya, for giving me an opportunity to talk about the engagement teams and their performance, which is very important. And today in my session, I'll talk about briefly, I'll go back and then refresh on the audit, the way we have to do the audit. And we will also look at each of the engagement team and the team members, what are all the roles and responsibilities, and what are all the challenges that we could face in the engagement performance. So this is basically an outline of today's presentation. First, let us look at, from the peer review point of view, what is that the PRB is looking at. PRB is looking at the firm's level, whether the leadership and assigned quality control responsibilities of the firm, the firm's values and goals are properly being defined. The firm has a mechanism for staff development and management and disciplinary monitoring within the firm. The firm has information system that supports, analyzing independence, scheduling the work and clients, and also the staff, documentation the work within their quality control mechanisms that they are going to enforce, and monitoring the quality control procedures. And the peer review board looks at what the leadership's responsibilities are, and the ethical and independence way and professional judgment when it comes to decision making, and using their professional skepticism, continuous supervision of the work they perform, and the review of the respective files. At the engagement level, peer review board expects the controls pertaining to client acceptance level, assignment of staff responsibilities, consultation use of experts, and documentation as per the standards laid down by the institute, and the release of audit report within the standards prescribed by the ICI, and also some firms follow the international standards on auditing. Let's look at the story of audit in brief. So let us refresh. First, the onboarding of a client is called an acceptance and continuation process. And although I have narrated the related essays, this is only an illustrative list. So there are essays for the specific activities for the specific tasks that are being performed by the firm. So basically, you start with, when a client walks into the office, what kind of acceptance and continuation procedures you have, and how you are going to issue an engagement letter to him, defining your responsibilities and their responsibilities in clear. Then and the agreed fees, and the scheduling of the work. Then the next one is your planning. You plan the audit based on the risk profile of that particular client, and to mitigate those risks of material misstatements, what kind of tasks that you form, whether it could be control procedures or substantive procedures. And execution is like, whatever you have planned according to the programs which you have determined, whether the work has been executed, whether
Madam, anything went wrong? Nidhi madam? Oh. Friends, Just let us try to connect. I'm now getting in touch with the speaker. Just give me 5 minutes. Friends, he is trying to get connected. Nidhi madam, he is trying to just get connected with all of us.
Yes, sir, he's trying to.
Just in the meantime, to keep you, tied up with one particular important aspect, which our learned speaker, is going to take us through. There is a beautiful document which has been come out with from the IFAC, which is for the small and medium practitioners. And I can just share with you, I just started reading that book. One is our own institute material, but however, this is a little more elaborative if you see. Guide to Practice Management for Small and Medium Firms. And this is where, lot of initiations have been taken with regards to, the performance evaluations as well as engagement teams, how they should be, what should be the composition of those teams, and how that need to be actually evaluated. Though people have been thinking that, as a small firm, can we actually, how do we actually do an engagement team? How do we create a composition? Friends, one thing I would like to say, our learned speaker has joined. One thing which I would like to say is opportunity is there in the law itself, in our act itself, where we talk about external quality reviewer. And when I started my practice, I have actually thought from that perspective, and we have taken certain mentors who are being very large in the system, and they have actually guided us to set things right. So Vijay bhai, I hope you are back again.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. So please go ahead. I was just filling the gap in between.
Thank you, David. See, as I was saying about the audit approach, when it comes to the detailed audit approach, where we do risk assessment at the planning stage, and we perform the risk assessment procedures, document the risk response in the form of a summary against the risks identified. The response is something like you design further audit procedures and you perform that audit procedures, whatever you have designed, and you get the audit evidence, evaluate the audit evidence, and finally prepare the auditor's report. Then briefly, the tasks in planning are, again to refresh, agreeing the terms of the engagement, building an audit team, conducting an initial planning meeting, prepare a project plan for the assignment, preparing the risk response summary, and preparing an audit plan for the risks identified and how to perform the task. Discuss the components of the engagement letter with the engagement team. Issue an engagement letter with the detailed plan and nature and timing of testing and coverage. Then when it comes to execution, perform the audit work as per plan, and reviewing the work performed and the documentation what you have done while performing the work, updating the plan based on the work performed, and updating the issues where you get some surprises in what you have received, analyzing the issues and significant matters, and communicating the significant matters to the client. And then the next step is your completion procedures, review the overall responsibilities on the financial statement performance, and summarizing the unadjusted errors and differences. Review the internal control deficiencies, what you observed during the audit. Consider the implications of those assessments, management assessments, and effectiveness of internal control over financial reporting, which may have a bearing on your final report. Perform final review procedures to ensure the adequate comfort for each of the financial statement assertion. It's not only financial statement level, a line item level, even at the assertion level, you need to get comfort. And continuation of the completion procedures, the final disclosures, you can use a checklist, review and clear the clearance of the engagement partner and manager, whether all the significant issues identified are being communicated, the results to the audit team and to the client, and taking in wherever it requires to be reported. Identifying and reviewing the subsequent events, if any, what you have observed, and obtain the management representation letters as part of the standard on auditing. Perform the final set of financial statements. Example, certain reconciliations, cross-referencing and things like that. And now we had another additional responsibility casted on the audit in terms of reviewing the other information which appears in the audited financial statements, and with the in the annual report containing the other information. Although we are not obliged to report on these matters, but we need to review and find out whether these matters are in concurrence with the numbers reported in the financial statements. Assure as an engagement partner and manager, the quality review partner, the work has been completed as per the ethical standards, and the timely updation of the working papers and sign off. So this is basically required by the engagement team, understanding of the audit. I think there is some technical glitch at my side, in terms of sharing this presentation to you. Kindly bear with me. I don't know, it's very weird.
So it has come again.
Yeah. I don't know. Nidhi, is it your side?
Nidhi madam, aapka mute karo.
Yeah. So the completion procedures could be like, review the wording of the auditor's opinion, draft the communication letter and letter of weakness, which is and issue to the client. The most important thing I will say is debriefing the engagement team and obtaining the client feedback after the completion of the audit and issuing the audit report, like, what went wrong, how best we can improve in the subsequent years and things like that. And finally, as per the SQC1, we are supposed to archive the file, audit file, as per within 30 days or I don't know, 60 days from the completion signing date, right? Now, having understood about, just refreshed ourselves with respect to audit, let us look at the specific thing on the engagement performance. What is, how do we, what are all the tasks that we are going to do when it comes to the engagement, when you are performing a specific engagement, is It's most important for an engagement partner to take responsibility for the direction and supervision of the audit engagement, which should be in compliance with the professional standards and the legal requirements. And he and his team is required to review the work on a timely basis. And he should also look at the importance of consultation for those matters which are required. And there is an engagement quality control review that is required at each stage of completion, and continuous monitoring of engagement and periodical recording of the work performed, that is the documentation. Now let us understand who all constitutes engagement team. The engagement team includes, I'm talking about an ideal scenario, it should be an engagement partner, that means the partner who signs the engagement. The manager on the job, and you can have one manager or multiple managers. He will be assisted with some qualified chartered accountants. And finally, he has the foot soldiers called optical students who will assist him in completion of the allocated tasks. And there will be a quality review partner who will also oversee the overall quality of the engagement and assist the engagement leader or the engagement partner to see that the engagement is done and dusted on time, and the quality of the control procedures that are being laid down are being followed. Let us now look at each one of the team members, his roles and his responsibilities. Let's first talk about the engagement partner. The engagement partner is the partner who is responsibility for the audit engagement and its performance. We am saying it again and again. The engagement partner is supposed to determine the objectives of the audit engagement and leads the development of the audit strategy, that means your plan and how to move forward, and is satisfied with the resources deployed. That means the right people are applied at right time, at the right place, and for the right task. The engagement partner determines the opinion to issue and sign the audit reports. And the opinion and sign the audit reports on behalf of the firm and ensure that it is required appropriate authority and legal and regulatory body to do so. The engagement partner with respect to the audit quality takes the responsibility for the quality of the audit engagement. In doing so, he leads the performance of the audit and its documentation by leading proactively, sufficiently involved throughout the audit engagement, and assess the progress of the audit in making key judgments, has the overall responsibility for reviewing and assessing the quality of the work done and its proper timely documentation and the conclusions reached thereon. Sets an example throughout the audit by his actions, messages that emphasize the fact that the quality is the essential feature in performing the audit of engagements, and it is importance of performing the documenting work, complying with the professional standards and regulatory and legal requirement, complying with the risk management and quality control procedures, issuing the report that is appropriate in the circumstances that is warranted. That means, when he has to issue a model clean report, when it needs to be issued a qualified report, and when it could be a disclaimer report. His responsibility as an engagement leader is who drives continuous quality improvements, challenges the engagement team members to think, analyze, question, and be rigorous in their approach. And he's also responsible for the engagement team undertaking the appropriate consulting processes with respect to complex accounting and auditing matters. Documents the extent of timing of his and her own involvement in satisfying there is an appropriate record. That means, he should also have timesheet to capture how many hours he has been involved in the engagement. In addition to that, engagement partner also will determine who will be the quality review partner and what could be his time and how his time can be budgeted in the fee proposals that they submit to the engagement team. Discuss the significant matters during the audit with respect to the quality review partner and his concurrence. Confirm the quality review has been completed before the audit report is signed. And the engagement partner is also responsible for liaising with the quality review partner on a timely basis and keep the QRP informed throughout the audit, not only when the issue is arising. It need not be a need-based. They should go hand in hand and ensure that the quality review process is in place, and he should continuously interact with him. Then, in addition to that, the engagement partner should be satisfied with the appropriate procedures with respect to acceptance and continuation procedure and the consultation procedures with respect to retaining of a particular client or welcoming a client on board. He should also assess the integrity principles of owners and their governance. For example, if the engagement, if a client you want to take on board had some kind of a relation in tax havens and all, so you should assess what could be the risks to the firm and risk to that particular client. Whether the firm and the engagement can comply with the ethical standards, he should first review the acceptance and continuous assessment what the team has done on a timely basis, and he is supposed to sign the audit engagement letter on behalf of the firm, which narrates the responsibility of the auditor, audit firm, and the management, and the time budgets, etc., as we said earlier. The engagement partner is also required to assess whether he has an engagement team collectively has an appropriate capabilities, competence, and they perform on a timely manner and they adhere to the professional and regulatory legal standards for him to issue an audit report. In doing this, the engagement partner should be satisfied that the team should have a sufficient understanding and the practical experience of the audit engagements of similar nature and complexity. So there is a need for the engagement partner to see that the engagement team has an appropriate training with respect to the best practices in that industry, the inherent risks, and the other risks. The team needs to understand so that they can develop mitigating procedures and tasks, and they can perform and collect evidence which will support to issue a true and fair opinion. The team has sufficient understanding of relevant professional standards and legal requirements of that specific engagement, and they should also be aware of what kind of risk management and quality control processes that are being in place with respect to the firm. The team engagement partner should also help the team to collect sufficient and technical industry and other related knowledge. And I want to tell you an example. When we were operating, way back in 90s, where we used to collect the paper cuttings of the specific industry where we used to audit. Now you have an internet and other databases wherein which it gives immense information about that specific industry and the related risks and so on and so forth. So the engagement partner should drive the team and make them to collect this kind of an information to understand the client business, and they can have a proper programmed procedures to mitigate the risks what they have identified. Right, the team you should identify a team to have a ability to apply professional degree of judgments and appropriate task allocated to them. It's not just like ticking the boxes. He should also ensure that they should apply and analyze their knowledge, what they have learned, being an article student or a qualified chartered accountant. The planned resources be allocated to team, and they are allocated there for a sufficient time to perform the expected from them. The engagement partner is required to have a planning meeting where he is responsible to assess the compliance of ethical requirement, including the independence of the engagement team. He has to share his understanding of the client and the industry, apart from insisting the team members to go and then search for the industry related information and the risk attributes to the industry and the controls are in place. He should also lead a discussion on fraud, whether he has a prior knowledge or what could go wrong with respect to the specific industry factors based on his cumulative knowledge of the enterprise. He should share the team his experience. He should be satisfied with the appropriate capabilities, time to perform the audit engagement. And he should also be satisfied with specialists when and how they are involved. And by virtue of his involvement, he should see that effectiveness and efficiency of the planning process is placed. 60% of the time for an audit should go in planning, and rest 40 is only in execution and completion. So if an audit has been planned properly, then most of the work is done, then the execution will become easy. The risk to the firm will be minimum. The quality of reporting will be at the highest standards. And his role is also to determine the nature, timing, extent of planned audit procedures at the assertion level for each of the material account balance, and have appropriately identified and documented the plan. And he should also drive where the results need to be documented and linked. All the plan procedures needs to be documented, and audit instructions in case of multi-location audit. So he should also take the responsibility of implementation of the audit plan. He should review and clear all the significant matters, if at all they are identified at the planning stage. So he is responsible for, he should take a responsibility of signing off the planning procedures. And when it comes to the completion procedures, the engagement partner should review the audit work on time. He should participate sufficiently in the decision-making process where there are contentious issues identified by the audit team, and he should be satisfied with the consultations that are taken place or the opinions obtained for those complex accounting and auditing adjustments being made. He should clear all the critical or the significant matters that are identified and that are being reviewed by the quality review partner, because ultimately he is responsible for the entire audit. He should be satisfied that the QRP review is completed before the audit file is signed, and QRP involvement also should be documented in the audit file. The engagement partner also to be satisfied the work on the audit, the file should have appropriate audit evidence, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to support the conclusions reached while drawing the audit report. And he should be satisfied that no matter has been arrived that affects the independence of and the objectivity of the firm. He should read the financial statements thoroughly, the final financial statements, I mean, and other information that is included this thing, and evaluate whether the disclosures are presented are appropriate, because he in his audit report say that the financial statements are in the manner so required kind of. So he should ensure whether all the accounting standard compliances or auditing standard compliances are in place. He should also read the audit report, and he should see whether the appropriate audit report has been issued. He should deliver the communications, makes the presentations to the audit committee that are for those matters that are required under professional standards and requirements. He should also take a proactive role in educating the client with respect to the new standards and new legislations that are applicable to that specific client. So till now, we have seen the engagement partner, what is his role and responsibility in managing performance of the engagement. Now we'll go to quality review partner. And what is the purpose of the quality review partner is to provide additional assurance that the engagement is done in accordance with the applicable professional standards. When it comes to the responsibility for the audit, the quality review partner is not equivalent of the engagement partner. However, the quality review partner is expected objectively to perform the procedures specified and reach the conclusion based on the relevant facts and circumstances in which he has knowledge. So he is like a catalyst for the engagement partner. A client may sometimes contact engagement partner, quality review partner for certain matters where they are not able to reach the engagement partner. But nevertheless, the ultimate responsibility for the engagement lies with the engagement partner only, not with the quality review partner. So with respect to nature and timing extent, the QRP response review should be is appointed, should agree in advance the engagement partner what all the items where his involvement is required, and quality review partner should allocate adequate time for their involvement. This time of the quality review partner should also be budgeted in the engagement fee proposals. The quality review partner responsibility is to perform significant review of significant auditing and accounting matters, including the internal control and financial reporting, etc. And before the firm issues the report, the QRP should ensure the effectiveness of internal control of financial reporting And QRP should conclude that no matter that has come to his attention can cause that the management assertion about the internal control is not fairly stated. That means he has to review whether enough comfort has been obtained to issue an opinion, whether it pertains to internal control on financial reporting or otherwise. And the quality review partner should understand the sensitive aspects of the engagement and reasons of the audit strategy selected. So he should also review the planning process and then suggest if there are any gaps. The quality review partner should make an appropriate challenging inquiries to satisfy himself that the conclusions reached thereon are reasonable. So this will ensure the firm issues an appropriate audit report. An engagement partner should review the audit planning, that is audit strategy, any significant changes in the work environment, and review the work papers, including the nature and timing extent of audit procedures performed in the high risk areas. The emphasis is on high risk areas in order to ensure when it comes to the completion procedures, these are all the minimum procedures he is supposed to perform. Like, he has to discuss new matters, if at all, that has been arised in the initial evaluation of firm independence. He should also discuss the significant auditing, accounting, and financial reporting matters with the engagement partner. He should discuss high risk areas identified during the engagement, including the procedures performed with respect to fraud and the response to those risks identified. He should discuss the judgments made in the course of the audit and how it is being documented, particularly with respect to material items and the significant risk. We should also discuss with the engagement team identification of audit of significant risk, including revenue recognition procedures. We should review the documentation done for significant accounting and auditing report matters, including the action taken to address them and their final conclusions. That means when a significant matter is being raised and brought to the attention of the engagement partner, the quality review partner should supplement the role of an engagement partner to ensure that the conclusions drawn on that significant matter is within the framework of the accounting and auditing standards. The quality review partner should also review the working papers of the work performed and the conclusions reached thereon. If there is a consultation process which have been taken place for any matters, he should also review those consultation process and ensure the assumptions and other aspects which are considered in that consultations are appropriate, or if he has any doubts in that, he should bring and discuss with the engagement partner. Of course, the final call lies with the engagement partner only. He should also review the summary of unadjusted differences, because normally, general audit practices, we will identify the unadjusted difference, and if it is not material, it used to be ignored. But the aggregate of the unadjusted differences could be material. He should also look into those matters and consider, suppose if the aggregate, all the unadjusted differences are material in nature, he should ask the audit team, talk to the client and revise the financial statements. And if such doesn't happen, he should consider reporting those matters in the audit report. He should also review read the financial statements and the audit report and consider the appropriate audit report has been issued. He should, communicate to the. He should also review the matters that are communicated to the management, including the audit committee. And he should also confirm to the engagement partner that there are no loose ends in the engagement with respect to the significant matters that are identified or addressed properly at the appropriate stage of the audit. And before the firm report is released, the quality review partner has to ensure that he should review the disclosures and all these things. He should adopt similar procedures that are performed for reviews even in case of the interim financial reporting in accordance with the SEBI. So in all the aspects, he should perform the role of an engagement partner, and he should support the engagement partner. When it comes to the internal control on financial reporting, he's required to discuss the issues in identifying what are all the significant accounts, what are all the significant disclosures, what are all the significant locations that are being considered for testing. If he feels that there are any gaps in identification or identifying significant accounts or disclosure with respect to significant accounts, missing of any significant location, he can ask the audit team to revise their audit procedure, plan and procedures, and then perform again. And he should communicate the same matter to the engagement partner. The quality review partner is also required to discuss with the engagement team, about the testing of the manner of testing the internal controls, and he should review the conclusions about the identified control deficiencies, whether it is a design deficiency or control deficiency, and whether if the deficiency is significant, could lead to material weakness, which has an impact on the financial statement line items. And where the consultation process has been in place with respect to performing this internal control on financial reporting, he should review the documentation of such consultation, including the resulting of their resolutions based on those consultation process. He should ensure that the management assertion about the effectiveness of internal control and the auditor's report are appropriately issued. And the main role of the quality review partner with respect to internal control and financial reporting is to assist the engagement partner that there are no significant unresolved issues, which is very important. And you should discuss the significant internal control related reporting matters with the engagement partner. So these are all the major responsibility of the quality review partner. And when it comes to the other team members, it could be the next important team member will be the manager, who is the guy who performs certain processes next to the engagement leader and owns the responsibility of the engagement. The manager should have, the understanding and the practical exposure of that particular engagement. He is next to the engagement partner. He should have sufficient, appropriate technical knowledge of the industry, and he has to apply the degree of professional judgment to the relevant task that is being allocated to him or her of the particular engagement. There could be one manager or a multiple manager depending on the size of the engagement. He should also have the quality control procedures that are being placed in place or by the firm. Okay, the manager supporting the engagement partner for the audit, what he should do is he should set an example in terms of professional behavior. He should, in striving the continuous improvement, applying the rigor of the audit process. So he should continuously discuss with the engagement partner, identify the competencies that are required to carry out the audit work, including integrating with the specialist wherever it is required, coordinating the work of the specialist like the actuary or the system analyst, so on and so forth. He should maintain the awareness of the professional developments, like, whenever there is new Ind AS or AS being in place, he should assess what could be the impact of work on that specific engagement by virtue of new professional standards, or like, for example, if Schedule 3 has been amendments to Schedule 3 has been introduced, manager should see what could be the impact, and he should also inform the engagement leader about this, and then try to also involve in how he needs to educate the client. Oversees the work performed relating to risk fraud, involved in brainstorming sessions with the audit team regarding fraud risk, supervise and be available to the team, which is very, very important. He should be the SPOC, or the single point contact for the team. And team should always look for his guidance and his supervision at all times. In addition to that, he should coach, should be a good people's manager to coach the members of the team. And he should also ensure the audit documentation is performed in accordance with the professional and the firm standard and the standards of ICAI, and audit work is appropriately documented on a timely basis, which is very, very important. So manager's role is nothing but to supplement the engagement partner. Manager can be, you can call him a manager, you can call him an associate director, or whatever it is. So he is the guy who is next to the engagement partner. And next comes the task, the guy who has his own team called senior qualified, a chartered accountant, freshly qualified, or an experienced qualified chartered accountant, who is next to the engagement manager. What he should do, he should also supervise his team, and he should coach them also in terms of the task allocated to him and to his team. He should bring to the attention of the engagement manager and the partner the issues which require his or her involvement throughout the audit. He should interact on a day-to-day basis with the client personnel and support interaction with the client management by other team members. So he is the I will say not foot soldier, just above the foot soldier, who is also a SPOC for his team and to the client of where he has been allocated a specific task. The senior qualified, I'm sorry, it's not an associate, assist the manager in the planning process. He will also be assisting the manager in performing the documentation, mobilizing and planning procedures, briefing his article students or his associates on their responsibilities. He should also assist the manager in preparation and dissemination of group audit instructions if it is relating to a multi-location or a multi-location audit. He should understand the areas assigned on the engagement before performing the work, and he should assist the manager in making a summary plan, and you should assist in giving the results of the plan procedures. And in addition to that, he's also responsible for continuously monitoring the progress of work with their associates, what they have done, and you should coach them while they are on the audit. You should discuss with the audit manager where there is a requirement of modification of the audit program. He should perform a critical self-review of the work, what he has done and his team has done. Performing a detailed review of working papers as requested by the manager or the engagement partner. He should determine all the assigned work has been completed appropriately and reviewed within the planned audit approach. And he should assess the completion and archiving of the file within the specified time limit and external work papers in accordance with the SQC1. Now coming into the foot soldier of the audit, his responsibilities are, while performing the engagement, is to understand his tasks, what has been assigned to him, execute the tailored audit procedures and tasks in the areas of planning. Proactively, he should seek input from his senior or the manager in execution as and when it is needed. Documenting the results of the work performed completely in accordance with the professional and ICA standards and the related accounting standard compliances and disclosures. He should, escalate the issues and findings to his senior and to the manager or to the engagement partner on a timely basis. This is where is very important. Timely, you should allocate. Otherwise, the performance of engagement will be an issue. He should also monitor the progress against the allocated budget of his task, and he should ensure that the deadlines are being met and proactively escalate the matters where he has encountered difficulties. The article students are required to ensure the audit documentation is complete as and when they perform the audit work. He should also look at, whatever the documentation is done, he should do a self-review of the work, what he has done, whether he has documented as per the audit procedure, task allocated and the procedures which have been laid down. Promptly and thoroughly responding to any action items raised during the review process. If the manager or his senior reviews, and if he's supposed to do some additional procedures, he is supposed to, perform those and close the review issues. So this is basically, a flavor what we want to give. What would be the responsibilities of an engagement partner, the quality review partner, the manager, whatever name he's been called, and the senior qualified assistants. You can have one or you can have multiple, and the foot soldiers, the article students who perform the tasks of a specific engagement. So now we are going to look at, what could be the challenges in the project management of an engagement. The first basic challenge, what we can say is, if the magnitude of client meetings are high, there is a challenge or the engagement teams with respect to organizing the such meetings, mobilizing the team, and start the audit process. And if it is a multidisciplinary team with specialists, the engagement team will have a difficulty in organizing the team to ensure the most appropriate team members attend the meetings and required for the project management. It requires a very huge project management skills. So you should have everyone's calendar available, and should be a synchronization of date and time for all these multidisciplinary team members to have an appropriate meeting in terms of whether it is a kickoff meeting or whether you want to take stock of things happen. In case of several team bookings for the audit work is spread throughout the year. Most appropriate team members are booked at the right time and right place is a big challenge for a large engagement. It is very, very important to have a resource management mobilization phase in place so that the right audit team member is available at the right time. Then another critical factor or the challenge people in the engagements have is to have the engagement partner manage their time at the appropriate manner. See, most of the times the engagement partner and the engagement partners will be involved in multiple engagements. Availability of their time is very critical. So, penciling the meeting times with respect to engagement partner and manager is a big challenge. And in case of an initial audits, the engagement partner has to spend more time to understand the client and the senior management and coach the engagement team for the timely decision making and focus on critical matters that can help for him to drive the real value for the team. So these are all the basic challenges for the engagement or project management of a team. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to take at this point. Nidhi ji? Hello. Hello. Dabai, I have finished it. So any questions I can take, but no one.
Hello, Vijay bhai.
Hi, Will.
I was attending another meeting.
Not an
However,
issue.
thank you very much. I'm just switching on my other system where I can see the questions which are coming up. If anything is there. Just a moment, please.
No issue, sir.
If you have any specific questions to be asked to our members, we'll put it in a reverse manner rather, I'll say.
Now that we had this concept of quality review partner, which has been, the talking point these days. If can a quality review partner be outside the firm?
Yeah, there is a possibility of having, and even our SQCs talks about particularly that you can have a person from outside the firm who is actually an external person who is a peer. Rather, on the other side, what I was talking, Vijay sir, is basically that most of the people are feeling that the review mechanism is only applicable for the larger firms, but no. When the law or the act or standards are applicable for every person who is into practice, similar is the case with regards to the review mechanism which is there, right? So point is, as per the standard SQC also, you are permitted to have, and what is happening in the current EQR also, they are permitting to have an external person if you don't have an internal person who is an subject expert to come and share. So this is how the vision of the institute or might be global accounting bodies is coming up, because ultimately at the end of the day there should be a second check mechanism which is very critical.
Yes.
So that is primarily for a reassurance, rather assurance to reassurance is the word I'll use, where most of the time what has been happening is it is auditing the auditor in a very soft manner if you ask. But yes, auditing is again a statutory requirement. But whereas this peer review mechanism or EQR is primarily a fundamental requirement that we need to get ourselves checked once.
Yeah, I take your point. The quality review partner is not going to supplement the responsibility of the engagement partner, but his work will definitely add value, and in terms of ensuring that the engagement is being performed as per the laid down quality standards of ICAI.
Right.
Right.
So in the case of Q&A, I am able to see everywhere writing, thanks a lot for such a nice presentation. Good presentation. Please share the presentation. Friends, I can tell you one thing is presentation we can share at any given point in time. But the point is basically to implement that presentation is also very critical.
Exactly.
And we are going to host all these videos which we have discussed on the first day. This is the second day. And the third day program, which is on 4th of August, where we are going to talk about audit documentation for small and medium practitioners, which is one of the most crucial part. Whether it's a statutory audit, is a tax audit or a GST related work or any other certifications. And we are going to have no other person than our own beloved past president Amarjit Chopra ji, who is going to come and address all of us with the speaker like Mr. R.S. Balaji, who is again a person authority in the auditing side. So Vijay bhai, the point is, very clear. What we are trying to put forward from the peer review board mechanism is that, these all are critical aspects. We have been implementing this entire thing. We have questions which are being placed in the questionnaire, which every peer review firm, practice units have to actually fill up and send. People are not able to catch up. How do I do it? That is the reason we actually evaluated this entire model. And then we thought, why not we come and manage it? So this is the background. For proprietary, who will review? Is a question for you.
Yeah, as I said, you can have an external quality review part. That the question which I have asked you probably will be the response to that question. Is, you can have an external quality review partner and he can review the processes and help the engagement partner that he has adhered to all the auditing and accounting standard compliances before he signs off.
So we have our Vice Chairman, Sir Rajesh Bhai, who is a co-chairman of the committee, who's been driving all of us the way he's driving right now from one place to other.
Yeah.
So welcome, Rajesh Bhai.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Rajesh Bhai.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Great deliberation we heard from you. I missed it partially, so it was there.
So, Rajesh Bhai, the discussion was primarily with regards to the engagement teams and engagement performance, which is requirement of the day, where we need to have external quality reviewer also coming and playing an important role. And most importantly, there cannot be a better person to talk a little bit on the competent team composition. If you can just put your thoughts on the competent team composition also, it will be of a great value before we go for a vote of thanks.
Is it over to me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dayanivasji. I can say this committee will be performing and doing and has done wonderful job under your able leadership. And definitely I can say a few things that let me cover one or two points relating to ICI, some steps which have been taken by ICI, because most of the persons who are attending here are persons from practice area itself. And the one who will be benefited by that, I can say from the CMP committee, when I was chairman, we have taken up a step of providing the audit tools to all the chartered accountants across the country, so that whatever is available to all bigger firms can be provided at free of cost to all our chartered accountants. So that is definitely a good area. And I can say about campus, we were seeing one thing, let me be very clear, the campus, many were thinking that how we'll be performing in the campus post this corona and other thing, because everyone was here with all conviction that the campus has improved during this all tenure, which was significant. So in several areas, but I say we have been doing very well. So the CMP benefits.ici.org is a page where you can join, and whatever tie-ups are done by your ICI, you can take benefit of that. I can say one more thing. If someone globally want to know about your firm, you need to have a website. So ICI also provides you a platform where you can have your own website. It is in ici.org.in. You can go there and create your own website. That can be done. Certain insurance policies and other policies also are definitely of great use. So we regularly on all fronts, I can say Udemy is one of the, it is totally a unique system which was started by ICI, and now it is implemented. So I can say that it is of DAB, of course, there was there. So on some occasion, it will be important. This I'm also part of examination system. So let me be clear that examination we had hold in a very tough time. These are all out of contest thing. But why I'm saying this? Because everyone in the council, given with the area, are performing and trying to do whatever best they can do for the profession. So that is a specific thing. And definitely this time of learning, you will, at the end of the period, after this 5-6 sessions, you will be more equipped to handle your firm. You will be more equipped to manage your practice. You will be more equipped to have proper documentation, proper planning for your work, and whatever is required, you need to work towards that. And ICI believes in hand-holding. ICI believes in supporting its member. So we'll be working towards that. So with this, over again to Dayanivas. Thank you very much, Daya, for organizing such a wonderful program, and really thankful to our speaker for sparing time and enlightening all our chartered accountants who across the country who have joined today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh bhai. Thank you for continuous support and always being there. And every time we are able to complete the work also. And friends, I can tell you one thing is, out of 88,000 firms, we have only 3,800 plus firms which are gone for the peer review. Honestly, on behalf of the peer review board, chairman, vice chairman, entire committee board, rather I'll say that, please initiate your firm's peer review. It's in time to come may become mandatory, and we don't know how it is going to move forward. But yes, the fact is very simple. A self-assessment is always the best assessment. I think Vijay bhai, you will also agree that once we do a self-assessment, it makes a whole lot of difference. And learning from you with regards to the team composition and a way we need to assess our engagements is something which is very critical. Your years of experience has actually come out in the slides which you have shared today with our members at large. And friends, thank you very much for joining us. Rajesh bhai, thank you very much for joining us. I know you are very, very busy. You are traveling from one location to other, and the kind of cause you have been doing at a larger level has been very high. In pandemic time also, you are moving around to the members who are affected, and you are delivering medicines, which itself is one of the best causes which we can see. And today also you might be doing a similar job. Vijay bhai, thank you very much for joining us in the peer review board today. And thank you very much. And any further questions, if it is coming in, we will share with you, and we might actually host it on our page of peer review board. Nidhi madam and your team entirely, thank you very much for joining us. And technical team, thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining.